on this December 10th, Thursday edition. G. Edward Griffin in studio coming up. Lord Monckton coming up for a brief report on this Thursday edition. Other guests as well, jam-packed. We are simulcasting the radio show right now at prisonplanet.tv. I wanted to get Patrick Henningsen, who was a mainline environmental activist involved trying to save the rainforest, and then he would try to go talk to these globalist organizations about, well, if we sell carbon credits, can we, use this to buy up rainforests, which he was able to do. And they said, no, this isn't about that. It's about money. And now in the Hopenhagen Treaty, we learned 2 days ago that they plan on cutting double the emissions in the third world than in the first world, which will admittedly kill more than 1 billion people. Billions and billions of people are on the edge of starvation. 15+ million starve to death every year. The globalist state, in their own textbooks, they want to use starvation and war, State Department Memorandum 200 to do this. All of you hippies and fake liberals and trendies, don't you notice all the oil companies are on the news financing the Hopenhagen garbage? Don't you notice that the NFL's behind it and all the media's behind it? The IMF and World Bank, now it turns out, will control all the money, the big central banks that have raped the third world. They've got all these fake spray-painted Hopenhagen signs up everywhere that are meant to look like grassroots all over Copenhagen, to make it look like it's grassroots and from the people. This is a global revolution against the people, and there's no more time for denial. In all the UN documents, in all the plans, they state that once this grid's in place, they want a bankrupt industrialized society to force you to only have one child. Then they say they're going to phase that out next and put taxes on even one child. Financial Post of Canada today. We see these every day. Ladies and gentlemen, I am knee-deep in the documentation. These people are Nazis. The real inconvenient truth, a planetary law such as China's one-child policy is the only way to reverse the disastrous global birth rate. Then there's the whole fraud of that. The UN's own numbers show that by 2022, that the Earth's population will plane off at 8.2 to 8.7 billion. Then it will start drastically falling. If they ever allowed the third world to industrialize, even the British Royal Commission of 1949 said this, that would have caused a massive population reduction, even if you believe we're overpopulated. Because in industrialized countries, on average, have a 1.3 population replacement. 2 parents, 2 baby boomers have, on average, 1.3 children. That number's even dropping faster in Italy and Japan, approaching 1, not 1.3. Many cities in Germany are half empty. The West is collapsing. Russia's lost 40 million of its people just through lack of replacement. This is all happening. This is all going on. This is eugenics. It's not about whales and buffaloes. Please wake up. All right, I want to go to Patrick Henningsen, who we had on yesterday, but we had to cut him short. I wanted him to recap the story of how he's a real environmental activist that found out the truth, what he's seen the last 24 hours in Copenhagen, Lord Monckton's talk being taken over by brown shirts, and also plug some of his websites. Good to have you here, Patrick.
It's good to be with you, Alex. How are you doing?
Knowing that the cuts, look, it was going to kill 1 billion people with the moderate cuts in the third world. Now those cuts are many times what they were. This death sentence, and we're not just saying that. This is a guaranteed death sentence for tens of millions of people a year. And I just want to make all the fake hippies that are supporting this go look at the death. I want them to go see the dead skeletons of those little children. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, well, firstly, I know that the UN spent, tens and tens of thousands of dollars branding the Copenhagen summit as Hopenhagen, but I won't take credit for this, but Christopher Monckton recoined the conference the other day, and it's in our film, which is online, and I think we should call it Dopenhagen from here on out, because that's exactly what you're looking at.
Scammenhagen, Deathahagen, Murderhagen, Slaveryhagen.
We spent the last couple of days speaking to people from the developing world, scientists. We're going to be speaking to the parliamentary members of Mozambique tomorrow to talk about how this is the whole Copenhagen summit is really kind of a ruse. They're using the developing world to get people to and the left wingers and the environmentalists and the activists to really feel sorry about the plight of people in Africa. But really, the developing world is the one who's going to get the short end of this stick.
Look, you've got to go to the African delegation and go, the IMF and World Bank have raped you by design. Their documents have been public since 2002, how they do it by design. They are going to get all this tax money and use it to further deindustrialize you. That is in the treaty.
Now, we went down to the pit of the beast, which was the outside of the summit. They have something called the Climate Forum, which is really where all these sort of anarchists and traditional left-wing activists that get imported.
Let's call them events. Nazi murderers. People that want to slaughter the third world, degenerate foundation, banker-funded, fake left-cover opposition, the absolute most dangerous people on earth. Go ahead.
No, granted, you're right, Alex. Some of these there are provocateurs woven into this, but the overwhelming majority of these sort of people are, middle class dropouts. They're sort of the hired Hessians of the left that come in for any event. We saw them at the G20 in London wearing balaclavas, not really knowing why they're there, but they're there, just because they want to bring capitalism down or something like this. Now, it's very dangerous because we asked about a couple of dozen people a simple question, which is going to be in our film, which we're going to post online in the next couple of days. If you had the choice, if you had $500 billion in your hand today, and you had the choice to either eliminate poverty in Africa and provide clean water for third world countries, or to combat climate change, which might happen in 100 or 50 or 200 years, 10 out of 10 of the people who are from Europe or America, they said, well, I think climate change is more important than, saving lives today in Africa.
Because it's their religion. That is in eco-science that we're atheists, but people have got to have a religion. We're going to make climate change the new religion.
Sure, and people were espousing this idea of a utopia where, people, 200,000 people a year dying because of climate change in Africa. I don't know where these figures come from or how they, sea levels are not rising.
Those numbers are as real as man, bear, pig.
Yeah, the Earth is not getting warmer. I don't see how climate change is killing people in Africa. Now, we spoke to Africans, and almost every single African we spoke to said, no, I will take that $500 billion and I will eliminate poverty and provide clean water and lower infant mortality, eliminate malaria. These are the priorities for us. So, this just pretty much tells the tale of the sort of divide we have. It's a divide of reality, Alex.
Well, notice, that's the master stroke of the globalist. It's always the opposite of what they say. They go, this is to free the third world, help the poor by cutting off all their energy. But see, they only announced that, it came out from the secret document 2 days ago. They were going to spring that at the last minute. Are any of these fools understanding that cutting off the energy to the third world is not going to help them?
It's really, it comes down to, and it was really frustrating. We're trying to interview people. I think a nauseous feeling in my stomach, like I can't really do this anymore. There's nothing that we can really say to get people to really listen to the sort of the wider picture. And, it comes down to this. It's mass psychology, Alex. To any of these people one-on-one for any length of time, I show them ClimateGate. I talk about the IPC shortcomings. I talk about the fact that there is a global decline in temperature. You can actually get them to open their mind, and they will come around. But when you're talking to people briefly, you're talking to groups of people, the Nazis understood mass psychology really well. I think some of these same principles, hope, change, save the planet, these sort of mass concepts really work well on a mass scale. And so this battle that we're going to have to fight is going to be one mind at a time. It's going to be one person at a time. And if everybody goes out and does a little bit, gets proactive, talks to their neighbors, talks to their family, talks to their coworkers, and wins this battle one person at a time, eventually, when you turn a mind, when a mind is woken up, it will never go to sleep again.
Well, Patrick, let me ask you this question. It's been reported that the third world countries, the developing countries, are freaking out over the text of the treaty that states they have to make most of the cuts and that it's an IMF, World Bank, private system that's going to run it. Do they understand that the previous smaller cuts were going to kill 1 billion people over the next decade? Do they understand this is even more monstrous? I mean, do these feel-good, lazy, trust fund punks realize that they're having a hand in mass murder?
It's difficult. You know, a lot of the people who are activists and who come to these events, or who are sort of green warriors, as it were, they're really like holdouts from the Beat generation, just a sort of updated version of it. And, you know, what you're talking about, Alex, are facts. You're talking about real documents. You're reading the UN Agenda 21. These are things that are publicly available that everybody can go and see. And the types of people who are kind of going along with what I would term as a collectivist movement is really what it is.